Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to our discussion about fall favorites in our winter TBR. Thank you so much for coming. You guys can let us know what you really loved reading in the fall. We're going to just talk about a couple books. We're going to start with the fall and then we'll move into winter TBR. So yeah, let us know some of your favorites in the chat. Yeah. And yeah, welcome. Thanks so much for coming.
Oh, look, hi Faith, hi Elizabeth, hi Cami. I'm so excited to see you guys here.
Hi guys. Welcome. Dio was here earlier. And John. Hi guys. So I'm just in the kitchen putting in pizza together, but it'll be in the oven soon. And then we can move to my office.
I love this. Just chill, hanging out, talking about books. Can't get better.
It's like I'm always comforting myself. Like people like vlogs. It's kind of like vlogging.
Like a live vlog. Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Just hanging out.
Get ready with me, except it's make dinner with me.
Make dinner with me. I love it.
Oh. So I love your little tree, Emma. That's so cute.
Thank you. I know. I just put up my my Christmas decorations the other day, and actually I got up like the big stuff that I know where it goes, but then I also have like a bunch of little stuff. Like I don't have any of the ornaments on the tree yet, and like I have lots of little things to still put out. But yeah, it's fun to have the lights up because I always do the lights around the top of the room. Like
oh, cute!
So it just makes everything so much more twinkly and fun.
Yes. I agree. And it's so perfect for this live show.
There we go. Got the best.
I should just like, hang on. Let me see if I can. Is this how you do it? No. Is that right?
Oh, one of those.
Oh, shift. How do you shift? Oh. I don't know how you do it. Shift.
The fake backgrounds?
I was going to put you up because your background's really pretty. But I can't figure it out.
I did not even know you could do all those changing things. The next time I use StreamYard, I'm going to have to figure that out.
I learned so much from watching like Krista on her lives. Do you know Crystal from Books and Jams? Like,
yes, yeah.
She's great. She does like polls, and I'm like, you can do polls on a live?
What? I had no idea. Wow. Okay, we're going to have to try this on the 10th, right? Is when we're going to have our Advent reading sprints over on my channel. So
yes, I haven't figured it out yet. I'll have to ask her.
We have to Google that.
Yes. Hello, humble hands. Thanks for joining us.
I love your avatar picture with the sheep. That looks
really cute. I love the name too. That's really cute. Yay! I'm glad you like. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm glad you don't mind the weird lighting and everything else. Hello, cool gamer. Hello. And Urza. Hi. Long time no see. Oh, good. We have our first favorites. Okay.
Pillars. Yes. Pillars of the House by Charlotte Mary Young. Best book ever. I got my mom addicted to that as well. And as soon as she finished it, she was like, what's the next Charlotte Mary Young that I'm reading? And I think she ended up, Kate Howe originally turned me on to Charlotte Mary Young. And she sent me a list of like, there are a ton of books that the Pillars of the House characters appear in. They're not like technically sequels, but it's like they sort of make guest appearances. And so I think my mom started one of those. But yeah, I love Charlotte Mary Young.
That is really... And you had a young book on your list of potentials for your book club next year. I was like, oh, exciting.
It's definitely going to be. Actually, it was so funny. I think the top two, because I did a little poll for my book club of like what people wanted to read. And Jane Austen, like everyone but 2 people voted for Jane Austen. Like out of 27 votes, it was 25 for the Jane Austen book. And then Elizabeth Googe came in second, and third was Charlotte Mary Young. So...
yes.
I think we know that
Thank you,
one
Kate.
Definitely be. I know. Props to Kate. I wish she could be here tonight. She's not feeling well, so.
Yes, that's right. I should mention that. Kate just emailed us and she said, don't even try to reschedule right now. So she's just dealing with her health. And so we're praying for her and wish her the best and hope that we can do this again with her in the future, and Anne as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So Emma, is Pillars of the House one of your favorites for this?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I absolutely adored it. I couldn't put it down. It was so ironic because I'm also have been trying to get through like Anna Karenina, which I have right here. And like Anna Karenina is like pretty thick, right? And Pillars of the House is, I read it as an ebook, but Pillars of the House, the 2 volumes essentially are this long. Like it might be a little longer actually. But this I've been like dragging my feet on for months. Whereas Pillars of the House, I like had to force myself to stop reading it because like there were other things I needed to do and I was just wanted to sit and read Pillars of the House. The characters are so warm and like the family, it's like a family with 13 kids, and you get to see them over the course of like 14 years. You see them all grow up, and they're just all so delightful. Yeah, Elizabeth says Young seems to have her own whole fictional world. It's delightful. You feel like you wonder how she made it all so real, because like the family, the dynamic, and their like witty banter and their personalities are so true to life that it just feels really immersive, like when you enter into it.
It really does. I remember she actually shows a scene of like in the beginning, which is where I still am because I'm slow. I'm like 30% into volume 1 and I just never progressed, but I definitely want to because it's really good, but there's no audiobook, so I'm very slow. But so she shows a scene where there's a child who comes into a house of faith, and the child is an atheist. And it shows his conversion and the things that he thinks about the people around him and what eventually makes him convert. And it was like, I just feel like this is never in fiction. It seems so realistic. I was like crying. Like it was so good. Yeah, it was just so
about faith so beautifully. Kate Howe said that she's like the Victorian Elizabeth Goudge, which I see Humble Hands says a new follower found through Elizabeth Goudge, which yay, I adore Elizabeth Goudge. But I think Kate is totally right. Like Charlotte Mary Young is stylistically quite different from Elizabeth Goudge, but that theme of faith and how beautifully it plays out, and like how authentically it's done, but like it's also done with humor and lightheartedness. It's not at all, hypocritical or heavy. It's just so relatable, and yeah, I'm very excited to know about Charlotte Mary Young.
I want to say, is it is it a Victorian thing that writing that everything is it's like so easy to read Victorian fiction, like readability wise, it's like not usually way over my head. Like I feel like Victorian fiction is a great place for like even beginners who are just starting reading more difficult books. I don't know. That's just
I feel like it's not as bad as, like, some people think it's going to be bad, but then when you pick it up, it's pretty relatable, I think.
Yes. That's so funny about Anna Karenina. So I guess Anna Karenina wasn't one of your fall favorites.
No, sadly not. Okay, so I got to the point. Well, see, can I spoil it? Should I spoil Anna Karenina?
What do you guys?
I got like here. I won't spoil it. I'll just speak generally. I got about halfway through, and like there's this one scene. See, if you know the book, you know this scene at the horse race. That it's like it's super symbolic. And Vronsky and Anna and her husband are all there, and I felt like the horse race is like what symbolically the whole book. Like that's what happens in the book. So like after I'd read the horse race, I was like, can I be done with this? I know what happens, and I don't find Anna is not at all a laudable character. Obviously, it's kind of just there was a quotation at the very beginning where it was about one of the characters like. What was it that he needed a newspaper as a fog, as a convenient mental fog, so he didn't have to like look at his real problems. Or there was just this image of like throwing a fog so you don't have to look at your problems. a mental fog. And I feel like that's what Anna and Bronsky and the main characters, well, not Levant and Kitty. Levant and Kitty are the reason that I'm still reading, and I should finish just to see what happens to them. But somehow, like halfway through the book, it feels like we're done. And yet there's like another 400 pages. So there's beautiful writing though, and like very inspiring scenes. So I need to buckle down and get to it. I just haven't. Pillars of the House swept me away.
Yes. It sounds like you're in a book slump. Hi,
Jerry.
Well, why don't I share a favorite? This is like a really recent one. I guess I'll work my way back from most recent to more new. Yeah. This is going to be hard to narrow things down. I didn't narrow it down ahead of time. But I really loved Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl by Harriet Jacobs. So this is a memoir of an African-American woman who was a slave. I forget, I don't even remember what state she was in, but she ended up fleeing to New York. And it's about her life as a slave. Like she grew up not actually knowing that she was a slave. And then when she hit puberty, her master started sexually abusing her. So she fled him and lived in her grandmother's basement for like 11 years or something, and eventually makes it to the North. But there's like fugitive slave laws, and she's like trying to save her children. And it's like, it is so gripping. It's not very long, but I'm just like, she wrote so like directly and with so much courage and about her faith. And I think she was really writing to convince Christian women in the North how bad slavery was for their men, you know? And I was like, it was so convincing, and I'm just amazed that I had never read it before. I was like,
look that one up. Yeah, I don't think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was incredible. So I would definitely rate that very highly.
Yeah.
And it's free on Project Gutenberg if anyone's interested.
You always gotta love those.
Yes. Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
So do you have another fall favorite?
Yes. So one favorite, this is kind of a bulky one because it's multiple books, but I have been reading The Chronicles of Narnia. And I went and bought this box set because I did not have it on my shelf yet. We did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe for my September book club reading pick, which was really fun. I was realizing I had read that one, but I had not read the rest of these. And they're really, really delightful. Apparently, there's a debate out there. If anyone watching has opinions on this, you'll have to let us know. But it was really fun in the comments on my videos. People were saying whether or not they thought it should be publication order or chronological. Because, of course, like publication order, like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe came first, but it's actually the second chronologically because The Magician's Nephew is kind of like the creation story. So, yeah, I've loved all of them, though. I feel like The Horse and His Boy might be my favorite. These are the collector's edition, but they have these such lovely illustrations. And this one, I love the way it features cats. I just feel like Lewis must have had a cat and obviously appreciated cats. But it's just so many lovely lines that like stand out in my mind and that I find myself thinking of. Like in this one, there's this great concept where it's Aslan. Does he appear in all of them? In a bunch of them, we do see Aslan, if not all of them, actually. Well, I don't know that because I haven't gotten to the last ones yet. But there's a line from Aslan about how I tell no one any story except their own, which, especially in the context of the book, is really beautiful. And like I feel like it's so helpful to remember just generally because like sometimes, you know, you see somebody and you're like, well, I did the same as them, but I didn't get the same result. Or, you know, like you're tempted to compare, but like especially that line in here, it's like, well, no, you only get to hear your own story. You don't hear their stories. You don't know all of their sufferings and all, you know, the things that went into that. You're just looking at it from the outside. So it's just a really lots of beautiful thoughts like that. Yes, the horse and the drive before the last chapter. Oh, you're right. I didn't think of that. That technically the horse and his boy takes place like in the middle of the Lion, the Witch, and the Horse. That would be challenging.
I did not realize that either.
Now Gary Bo's chronological and also published. Yeah.
Yes. So the debate is raging. Thank you.
I know. I love it. Oh, the Epic of Gilgamesh, Jerry mentioned. My brother is reading that right now, and I keep meaning to steal it from him after he's done with it. But yes, Chronicles has been wonderful, and I still have half of Dawn Treader, Silver Chair, and The Last Battle to get through. But I am very excited to finish them. I really, really am enjoying these.
I love that the horse and his boy is your favorite, because that's my favorite too, and Kate's favorite. But a lot of people don't feel that way about it.
Yes. When we were talking about it for the book club, some of my subscribers were saying they like tried to start The Horse and His Boy after Lion the Witch and just didn't get into it. But yeah.
Something about that, the setting in the desert, you know? Yeah. I just love
it. Evocative, and it's so fun to like go into a different you're like approaching Narnia from the south, as it were. You know, like you're approaching Narnia through a different neighboring land, and it's so cool.
It's so different from the rest of Narnia. Yes.
I'm loving the Dawn Treader right now. It is. I love the sea setting is also so fantastic.
All the different islands they hop to and everything. It's super, super fun.
Oh yeah, Sharon. Yes, that passage is just so. I love that so much.
Yes. Now I need to reread it. You guys are making me nostalgic.
I know, and especially that one where there was a quote I put in my Substack. What was it? It was like, I wonder if I can find it. Oh no, I think it's. I won't bother, but it was something about like, you know, that Shasta, the little boy, had finished this very difficult task, and then he was given another very difficult task, and the line was something about how he didn't know that like if you live up to your potential, like the very next thing you're going to be done, the very next thing that's going to happen is you're going to be pushed yet again, like more is going to happen. Which in my family we often say no good deed goes unpunished, and I feel like that's the idea.
Yes. I love that you're a quote person too, because I really love quotes too. So when you share a quote, it's like, so that's I have some books on my winter TBR that you quoted from, and that's why they're there.
I do love quotes. I always love seeing your books, Christy, with the like Post-it notes and everything. I feel like you have such a great system. I wish I had a better system. Like when I own the book, I'll just write in it with a pen. And actually Kindle is so nice because then I can just highlight it, and it's so easy to find stuff after the fact. Yes. But I love like physical books. So usually sometimes like if I'm really enjoying a book and like you're just reading it quickly and I don't have a pen and I don't mark it, it's like it's all over. I'm gonna spend hours trying to, like if I try to track a quote down after the fact, it's like gonna take forever. So I feel like I need to you've done a video about your Post-it note philosophy, right? I need to watch that and like I've never like embraced the Post-it note lifestyle, but I love the look of it.
I love the look of some people's. Mine is more like, you know, a porcupine. It's not super neat, but it works for me. Actually, I filmed a video of it for my Korean channel because it involves language learning, and I haven't edited it yet. So what I need to do is edit that. And that we'll talk about my tabbing system. So, all right. Why don't we look at another fall favorite? I just finished, I actually buddy read this with someone, but they asked me not to tell everybody that they were buddy reading it with me because it's so controversial. And I was like, I respect that. I'm even nervous talking about it. But
I got to read it now. What is it?
So it's called Irreversible Damage by Abigail Schreier. So it's really what she's talking about in this book is she is very concerned that there's a lot of girls who are feeling gender dysphoria, but seeking treatment that actually won't help them. You know, they're seeking surgeries and testosterone and stuff like that, when what they really need is like therapy. And a lot of them have like other social challenges, like some are on the autism spectrum, and that's part of the problem. And so she's like, we're giving these kids drugs and surgeries when what they really need is to learn how to deal with their own mental health problems. And so that's really her argument in the book. She's not, you know, she's trying to be very careful because she doesn't want to come off as there is nobody who needs treatments like this. She's trying to walk a very fine line. But I really appreciate that she's talking about it, because it's scary to talk about.
It is. So. And it's unfortunate that it's scary, because I think it sounds like a fascinating book and something I would totally read. Because I believe in like the dignity of biological men and biological women, and like all of these crazy treatments, and there's just so much surrounding that issue that has gotten so out of control. I was, before we started, I was telling Christy about this Alliance for Responsible Citizenship that Jordan Peterson, it was a lecture, not a lecture, just like a whole conference he did in London. And there were like panels on all sorts of different things. And I can't remember which one of them, but I feel like in one of them they kind of touched on that. And I feel like it's such an important issue, and it's outrageous that people like don't want to talk about it, because these children are making irreversible choice. You know, like they're children. They're not old enough to make irreversible health choices. So
exactly. I think it's in like Oregon. I think it's Oregon or maybe Washington. One of those the upper coastal states where a 13-year-old can go and get like a surgery to remove healthy body parts, we'll say. It's like, really? 13?
It is strange that our culture has had an understanding that when you're under 18, like you don't have the maturity to make permanent decisions. Like you can't drive, you can't smoke, you can't drink, you can't vote. And like, that's not arbitrary or unfair. It's because children are still growing and learning and like aren't mature enough yet to like have a solid basis on which to make permanent life altering decisions. So it's crazy that people think you can't talk about it, because it has to be talked about. And you hear from kids who do regret it, having had it done. And so it needs to be talked about.
Yes. And really that's her goal, is we don't want to be having kids that are regretting these things in the future. So that's really her goal of writing the book, is she's writing to parents, you know, who are trying to look for treatment, but are feeling really like they only have one option because that's what people are telling them they have to do. But parents who are really concerned because, you know, a lot of their daughters didn't have gender dysphoria growing up. It was only after they discovered the internet, you know, or they got a smartphone or whatever, that they learned about gender dysphoria, and they self-diagnosed themselves with that. So yeah, it's really worth reading, even though it might be a very controversial book.
Christy, you read such great books, and you present them with such like grace and like, you know, neutrality. Like I really admire that about you. In fact, I first heard about I need to read this book, the Louise Perry, The Case Against the Sexual Revolution. Yes. I haven't read it yet, but I've been watching a bunch of her interviews with her. She was on one of the ARC panels that I thought was really good. So I need to check out the book. But yeah, it's like these important conversations that are not being had that need to be had.
I'm so glad you found her. She's such a great she's such a great interviewee, because she's so polite and she's not a person who's, you know, she does her research very well, I would say. And she's not going to feed you something that has no research, even though you know where she stands on certain issues and you might disagree with her. I just think she's amazing. So I'm so glad you're watching her interviews.
Have you seen her interview on the I like Jordan Peterson, but I also love his wife, Tammy Peterson, has a podcast. And she had Louise Perry on. And she just posted a interview with Bishop Barron on prayer that I thought was so good. and just like really beautiful discussion. And I love Tammy Peterson's, like, she has such a like gentle delivery. That's it right there. I like just went up the other day and I had a long drive, so I was listening to it. But you know, I guess this could lead us into our next book, because
what is
I have 2 books on prayer that I've really been enjoying lately. I bought this one, Elizabeth Gouge. It's called A Diary of Prayer. And it's kind of, it's interestingly structured, because it does have prayers for every day of the year. And some of them like kind of liturgically match the season. But others are just sort of generally about like themes. So like in January, it's like for the church, in darkness and tribulation. And then June, it's poem. Well, there's a poem for the month each month. But there's for the poor and homeless, the refugees, the lonely. So it's kind of nice, because if you wanted to look up a prayer on a particular topic, you could just look at the index. But then you could also read it like day by day or month by month. But just, I mean, it's not surprising to find Elizabeth Gouge has such kind of a rich treasury of prayers that she knows, because there is so much richness in her writing. And I think her father, I believe, was a canon or a priest in the Anglican faith. And so I'm sure she got a lot of these prayers from him. But I just have loved this so much. And I feel like it's something I'll probably continue to pick up like next year, because there's such an interesting variety from so many different sources, and really lovely.
Ooh, okay, that's going on my winter TBR. Thank you. It's just gonna be like Emma. All right.
Whenever I watch yours and Kate's videos, like sometimes I like save your videos to watch later, because I'm like, as soon as I watch this, my TBR is just gonna grow ridiculously long.
Yes. So that happens. I can't watch a booktube video from anybody without being like, TBR added. Excellent. All right, we've had some people coming in.
Hi,
but yeah. Jerry said, if you dog your page, you can find a quote themis. Yes, that's true. Yes. And it's hard if you use the library with dog-earing pages. It's like, can't do that. That's why I developed a tabbing system, was because since I normally read library books, and before ebooks, it was totally different before ebooks. Now that I use ebooks, I just mainly write notes and highlight in my ebooks. So, hi, Tiffany. Welcome. Yes. Wow. I didn't even know she had an autobiography. All right.
The Joy of the Snow, right? That's a lovely one as well. And she also has I don't think I have it down here. I'm trying to think where it is. It's called The Book of Comfort, and it's just different passages and poetry on different, so it's kind of like the prayer, but they're not prayers. They're just sort of general, excerpts from different fictional sources. But yeah, her autobiography is really good too.
Awesome. I really need to read more Gouge. I have trouble with her because there aren't any audiobooks, and that's just like a huge thing for me. If I can get the ebooks, then I can usually read them. But what I read from her, I loved so much.
It's hard to find some of her books too. It's like they reprinted some paperbacks in like 2018, but even those can be hard to find. And like my favorite, A City of Bells, they don't have an ebook of. I really wish they would do it. It's so good.
Yes, the new editions are so cute. You collect the new ones, right?
I do, yeah.
They're adorable. Rainey's here. Hi. All right, Faith. Let's see what
that podcast we were just mentioning with Bishop Barron. They were talking about The Seven Storey Mountain by Thomas Merton. It was making me feel like I have to read that.
Faith is another one that I'm like, oh, I get all my spiritual recommendations from like you and Faith. Thank you guys. Dr. Chortle's School, Wildfire at Midnight. Mary Stuart! Yes!
It's been too long since I last reread Mary Stuart. I love her.
Yes. She's wonderful. Elizabeth loves it too. Going on my list.
Yeah, Faith, it was Tammy Peterson and Bishop Barron did a podcast on prayer just recently. And they talked a little bit about Thomas Merton. They had so many interesting things. Like after it, I was looking up this like random country artist, Hank Williams. It just they mentioned such a variety of like music and books and like their personal experiences. It was a fun conversation.
I'll send it to you, Faith, on Voxer. Okay. Tiffany, you would love Elizabeth Gooch. You would love her.
Must read.
Yes. I'll take note of this for your birthday. It's so far away though. Okay.
I know. I wish there were more copies of Elizabeth Gooch in the world. There just need to be more copies.
Yes, I really need them
to the public domain so we can get like the ebooks out or something. Actually, so I wrote a Substack post just recently when I was on during Thanksgiving, and I didn't have my copy of A City of Bells with me, and so I was trying to find it online to find these quotations that I wanted to put in, and it was from A City of Bells, which Tiffany, I mean, I would recommend A City of Bells because I think it's amazing and the best one. But it has like a bookshop and a cathedral town and like a mystery and a romance. I think it's so delightful. Although she's also super well known for The Little White Horse. And that has like more magic in it. And it's probably easier to find that one actually because that's a children's book. And I think J.K. Rowling has talked that up. So it's easier to find The Little White Horse. And it's also really good. A City of Bells is like adult fiction. Although she has kind of the same voice in both of them. But I found a copy of The City of Bells. It was this, I think, archive.org or something like that, where you could like rent it for an hour. I was honestly afraid I was going to get a virus or something by renting this book for an hour. So I guess maybe look into it before you. It's when I Googled it. But yeah, it was like you could look at it for an hour and it was a scan of the book. So I was able to look at it real quick and find the quotations I wanted. But
nice.
You have to read it pretty fast if you only have it for an hour.
Oh, that is interesting. I really need them to make.
You haven't read Gooch either. Sorry, we have many booktubers on here who need to read Gooch.
Yes, you guys really need to.
All Scent of Water is really good. That is also a really good one to start with.
Hi, Liz.
Hello.
Yes, everybody talks about A City of Bells. Yeah.
I know some people who like that wasn't actually their favorite one to start with. So it's funny to hear opinions because I love what's the one with the clock? I'm totally blanking. The one with the clock. Shoot, I'm trying to look at the titles on my watch. Elizabeth has it. Thank you, Elizabeth. I was like, one of the people watching probably knows what I'm talking about. I think is also really good. That one's a little bit more serious and like a little bit more dense and weighty, I feel like. Although, like I know, I think Kate doesn't necessarily love that one. So it's just funny. If you don't love the first one you try, do try another because they are a little bit different.
That is really good to know. Oh, Faith has a question.
Yamaroche, the Eliot trilogy. Yeah, it was Pilgrim's Inn, Bird in the Tree, and let's see the last one. But if you're interested in Elizabeth Gooch, there is an Instagram account, and actually she's on Substack as well. I think her name's Julie, the lady who runs it. It's just called the Elizabeth Gooch Book Club. And so she does different posts on Elizabeth Gooch on Substack and Instagram. But it's kind of a nice introduction. If you can't find the books, you can get a sense of like the quotations and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Oh, interlibrary loan. That's a good idea. And yeah, the Elliots are so good. Yes, Julie Whitmer. That's it.
And so for your book club, you mentioned you want to read The Little White Horse for
Yes, I think we're going to do, because my book club, we do a different book every month, and I think we're going to do it for middle grade March, A Little White Horse. So, yeah, so if you'd like to read that with us, you guys are very welcome.
Join Emma's book club. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I like it. It's so nice to like, because when you make videos, you see people's comments, and actually this is super fun. Live streams, you like get to chat kind of in real time. But like when it's just a video or a vlog you filmed and you put it up, like sometimes you get some comments, sometimes you don't. But like it's so fun with the book club to like see people's faces and hear them talk in real time about the books, that you like to read. But yeah, my book club is by email. So if you send me an email, emma@bookishprincess.com, it's I just have an email list, and so I email out the Google Meet link like a couple days before, because it's just a video call that we do towards the end of the month, and just discuss the book, and it's always really fun. Green Dolphin Street. That was the most popular one during her life, and I think it got turned into a movie, which I really want to see. I still have not found that.
Oh, that's the one. If that's the one with the movie, that's the only one my library has, because they had it because of the movie, I think.
Yeah, and I think it had two different titles: Green Dolphin Country and Green Dolphin Street. Maybe.
Yes.
I found Green Dolphin Street to be a bit dense. Like it's very long and kind of hefty, one of the heftier ones, but really good and really exciting. Like the premise is something else, they go to New Zealand and there's like a mix up and there's like a lot of character growth, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Krista's here. Hi, Krista. She's another K-pop girly with us, Emma.
Very nice. Yeah.
All right, let's look at another favorite. So another fall favorite, and then maybe we're just over the half. I guess we don't have like a set time limit for this live, but we've been going for a little over half an hour now. So maybe this will be our last favorite. What do you think? Or do you have a few more you want to talk about?
No, that sounds good.
Okay. Narrowing it down is really hard. I didn't even get to September. I think I have to go with Nothing to Envy. I'm really in a nonfiction mood lately. So nonfiction, and actually the same thing happened last year, which is what clued me in. Most of my favorites that I read in 2022 were also nonfiction. And I was like, I need to like make more space for nonfiction in my reading. So somewhere like halfway through 2023, I was like, or maybe it was more recent, I just decided I need to alternate fiction with nonfiction. And so that's what I've been doing, like probably 60% fiction, 40% nonfiction ever since then. So, and it's been great.
Good. I feel like too often I just default into fiction, but like there is so much in nonfiction to explore.
I feel like, at least among our circles on BookTube, I think that there are nonfiction circles on BookTube, but most of my friends read fiction. So I end up reading fiction because I want to read with my friends, but now I'm like refocusing. So I really loved a book called Nothing to Envy by Barbara Dimick. So this was kind of a journalistic take on what's going on in North Korea, and it's from the perspective of the journalist is writing it, but she's writing it about 6 different defectors, 2 of whom actually knew each other in North Korea. And like there's like they have a meeting like in the current day in South Korea and talk, and it is so interesting hearing from 6 different people experiencing the same things. Like they all remember the death of I forget, Kim Jong-il, I think is his name, the father dictator who died. They all remember his death because it was so momentous. And so they tell you, this is what I was doing, at that time. And they all remember the famine of the 90s, like the first time they saw a dead body and, stuff like that. So there's like these epochs in their life that they all remember. And it is really fascinating to hear their experiences of North Korea. And I just feel like I learned so much because it's really well researched and it's not just one person's story. Like she talks about how North Korea got where it is now and reasons why. And it was so good.
That sounds so like informative and fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. So do you want to share one more?
Yeah. So I don't know if this counts as nonfiction because it's an part of it. The bulk of it is an essay, but like it's about fiction, so it's probably cheating. It's Tolkien, Tree and Leaf. This book. So I had heard of Mythopoeia, and which is a poem, and Leaf by Niggle, which is a short story. I'd read both of those and really enjoyed them, but I didn't know that he had also Tolkien had done an essay about like fairy stories and just like what they are and like the meaning behind them and like how we should really look at them. And he has this beautiful kind of philosophy of, he calls it a Eucharistic ending as opposed to like a catastrophic ending, like that's terrible, that like the fairy tale always has like the unexpected positive turn. And he really pushes back and totally discredits the notion that like a happy ending is somehow like a throwaway ending, or a happy ending is somehow less serious or less weighty or less meaningful. And he does it so well and makes so many different interesting points about like language and stories, and part of it is like children versus adults, that like he, you know, like that, because people say like, oh, fairy stories are just for children, and he's like, no, actually that's the wrong way to look at it.
Yes.
Just so much good stuff.
I feel like it's like the most adult and mature people in my life who like love fantasy. And like, it's because you need a break from life sometimes, because they're out doing important things all the time.
I love how he makes the point that like, if a prisoner escapes from prison, you wouldn't be like, oh, they're just not a realist, they're crazy. Like, so yeah, no duh, if you want to read escapist literature, that doesn't make you like unrealistic or anything. It's just
yes,
insane. But
100%
yeah,
agree.
I love this so much. There's just so many good points.
I feel like this is a great transition into winter TBRs, because that's the first book on my winter TBR.
It is. Oh, did you already had it on there?
Yeah, from watching your videos.
Oh. I was like, that's such a cool coincidence.
Not a coincidence at all. Yeah.
Yes, I would highly recommend this. I feel like it's probably the one that's I mean when I'm putting together my list for my like top 23 of 2023 reads video, and I feel like I don't usually pick like a number one, and it's probably partly because I just read it. I mean, see, if you had asked me at the beginning of the video when we were raving about Pillars of the House, I would have been like, Pillars of the House is my number one. But like, now I'm talking about this and thinking about this, I'm like, this was the best book of this year. But yeah.
Recency bias is a thing, and I don't think we can be expected to think past it. I think you just have to know we all have it. So I'm excited to read that, because Tiffany's Patreon right now is reading The Hobbit, which I don't have to reread because your book club just read it earlier this year. So I'm excited about that. And then in January, February, March, we're going to read The Lord of the Rings. So I've only read a couple things outside of those most famous of books by Tolkien. You know, I've read like On Fairy Stories. I've read Leaf by Niggle, also with you, Emma. And I've read The Silmarillion. But I just feel like there's a lot of writings that I haven't checked out yet, like his essays. I haven't read a lot about those, and I haven't read any of his translations of like
medieval translations. Yeah, I read one earlier this year. So fascinating. Yeah.
So I need to read more, because those are such, like, they are instrumental to my development as a reader and as a person. You know, I just realized, there's so much more out there by him that I need to check out.
Tiffany mentioned that C.S. Lewis said something similar about fairy tales, which I could totally believe. I feel like there is so much overlap between Tolkien and Lewis, and yet it's also kind of funny because I feel like there are certain ways in which they're very different, and like I suspect they got on each other's nerves. Like in Leaf by Niggle, there's the character Parrish and then the character Niggle, and they're not exactly friends, but they're kind of friends, but not exactly friends. But like I could totally see Parrish as Lewis because like I feel like they were friends and they had so much in common. But yeah, I love the like when you read the two of them side by side, it's like there's so much overlap and interplay. And like when I've been reading Chronicles of Narnia, I'm constantly thinking, oh, that's similar to Lord of the Rings or the Silmarillion. It's a really fun. Their friendship is enriches literature. So
yes. I mean, friendship is so special because people are different. So if you're getting along with somebody and loving them as a friend, you're loving somebody who's very different than you are. I mean, you might also be friends with people who are really similar to you, but we know that C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, like Tolkien didn't like the Chronicles of Narnia. Like he thought they weren't very good. So that just tells you how different how differently they thought about like everything.
Yeah. No, it's very funny. I was thinking the other day that my dad was totally a Tolkien snob, and I never read the Chronicles of Narnia growing up, but I wonder if that's why. I feel like there was a subtle like, well, Lewis, but Tolkien.
Yeah.
Oh, Nancy Drew. It's been way too long since I read Nancy Drew. Yeah, I love the cozy mysteries. They're so fun.
Wow, never read Nancy Drew. That's crazy. Oh, cute. That's a mood, reading Nancy Drew for the first time as an adult.
That'd be fun. Maybe I should add that to my list for 2024.
Yes. So much nostalgia.
Ooh, Rydell Hardcastle. That sounds fun too.
Tiffany is loving these too, I think. Tiffany's been reading these too. Well, has she been reading them with Elizabeth? She might have been buddy reading with Elizabeth. Tolkien was so silly. Agreed.
I love his attitude though. In Tree of Leaf, there is like so much biting sarcasm that I like read off one of the long passages of my reading wrap up but it was like so great. The sass was like great.
Yes. It's fun when you can read a Christian or Catholic author who actually has sass, because sometimes that can be frowned on a bit, but it's so entertaining.
That's Flannery O'Connor, isn't it? Push back against the world as hard as it pushes against you. I like it. I need to embrace this more. It's what we need.
Fantastic.
The energy I'm taking into 2024.
I love it. I love it. I'm planning to read. That's one I forgot. I need to put that on my winter TBR. I might as well just share it now. I am planning to read The Bear. Oh. It's Flannery O'Connor's second book. So not Wise Blood. It's the one with the bear in the title. I'm reading it with Tiffany. Tiffany, do you remember what it's called? Tell me.
It's really great we have all you guys in the comments because it's like that one with the clocks,
Yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Right? You know what I'm talking about.
So that is going on my TBR, and I'm gonna read it. The Violent Bear Away. Thank you. I don't even think it's an actual bear. I think it's, but I feel like there's a bear on the cover, so that's why I stuck with that. Thank you. I'm writing that down. So that I will be reading in January. I don't think Flannery or January is going to be a thing this year, but it's still going to be for me. So I might still post something on it. All right, what's your next?
So this one, I have technically already started reading it, but I'm definitely going to be finishing it throughout the winter because I feel like it'll be really fun for winter. It's called Nordic Tales, Folk Tales from Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, and Denmark. Illustrations by Ulla Thinnel. It's a Chronicles book publication, which I was actually on a trip with my cousin, and we were up at the North Shore, which is on Lake Superior. Still need to edit this vlog. No idea when I'll get to it. But it was really beautiful. And there's a lot of Scandinavian heritage up there. So like, it was fun. You'd pass like a sign for a Scandinavian festival or whatever. And we went in this bookstore and I was trying to be good and resist purchasing anything. So like, it was funny. Like my cousin had found some things, and like we were like, she was about to pay, and I like hadn't found anything that really, really spoke to me. But then over the register, they had a chalkboard that said top 10 selling books, like just in this one small bookstore. Here are the top 10 reads that like our visitors have picked up. And one of them was Nordic Tales, and I was like, that sounds fun and sort of on theme. Like, where's the book? Where do I find it? So I look around, and then I see the cover, and I'm like, okay, this is too beautiful. I have to read this, and it feels too perfect for. It's fun to buy a book that you feel like kind of matches the place you've been, because then you like remember when and where you bought it.
Yes.
Yeah, and actually I did start it right after finishing Tree and Leaf, because it felt like perfect timing, because like he's talking about what fairy tales really mean. And Tolkien loved Nordic tales. They totally inspired him. He mentioned some Nordic fairy tale figures in that. So it just felt like so perfect. Like I feel like having just read that and then coming into this, like it's even richer reading this. And yeah, this edition does have really beautiful illustrations.
That's gorgeous.
Just like one for each story, but I think this is my favorite. The East of the Sun. I put a quotation from that in my Substack. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I think I've only read like 2 or 3 so far, but they've been just lovely. Although the other day I made a very dangerous discovery, and that is that this is a series. And there's like Celtic tales, Indian tales, like they have beautifully illustrated editions of all these different cultural fairy tales. And it's like, oh no, I just need a new series to collect. But now I really want them. Yeah,
man.
So fascinating. So yeah, I feel like this will be perfect for winter. And yeah, most of these come from, like it's fun at the back. They tell you where the tale comes from. Tales from the Field, Fjeld, by Abjornsen. Like they're all things you can't really pronounce. Mighty Mikko, a book of Finnish fairy tales and folk tales. Yuletide stories, a collection of Scandinavian and North German popular tales. So yeah, it just really feels very like wintry, good for like a cold evening. And yeah.
Wow. You've hit on a good series there.
I feel like maybe for St. Patrick's Day, I'll let myself buy Celtic tales. Like that feels like it's on theme. So
there you go. Honestly, if you got out of there with one book, I'm pretty impressed. Good self-control. Joanna, hi. Joanna's babysitting tonight, but she said she'd try to drop in if she could. So, yay! I'm so glad you were able to come, Joanna. And I know there was a bunch of chat that we missed, so let's go back. Hi, Nicholas. Hi. Welcome. And yes, Rainy. Christian's gonna be really sassy. I love it. And maybe that was it. And I want to say hi to Jaina. I noticed Jaina came in here earlier. And if you haven't told us yet, let us know what some of your favorites were of the fall. And also let us know in the chat what you're planning to read in the wintertime.
What are your winter cozy, day fades way too fast. It's dark, so I'm just going to stay inside and read. Those kind of books.
And this was so funny that she saw this as well on Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going around.
I don't remember seeing it. That was the first time I'd seen it. And then actually it was at another bookstore that I went in and saw Celtic tales and Indian tales.
That sounds so cozy, Joanna. All right. So for another book on my winter TBR, are we behind? How many have you done of your?
I have no idea. I lost track. Also, I feel like I totally co-opted your live stream and talked about Googe for way too long. So
no, not at all. I think if the chat is leading us somewhere, it can't be wrong. And they were loving that. So, there's the pen. I wrote down Nordic Tales, but I can't remember what else you said for your winter TBR.
Did I say another yet? I might not have said another for winter yet.
Okay.
I can't remember. I don't think so. But another that is on my list is The Winter's Tale by William Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I want to have a better habit of like always having like a Shakespeare to start after I finish a Shakespeare. I just feel like it's nice to always have one to just kind of rotate through and like always have them because they're so beautiful. Like the language, it's like a dance. It's just so lovely. And like every time you read, like a different line stands out to you. There was I suppose it wasn't a podcast because I don't think podcasts were around yet. It was like a radio interview with PG Woodhouse, and he talked about how like he was just always reading Shakespeare. I feel like so many of the authors I admire most like we're just always reading Shakespeare. So I think I'm trying to get myself more in that habit. And I recently found these beautiful, what is this edition? Pelican Shakespeare's. And I just think they're so lovely. So, which I found some of them. See, I told myself I'm only going to let myself buy these when I'm like at a bookstore on a trip. And like, it'll be a great trip memory. But I did let myself buy Cymbeline because I was like, I need to have Cymbeline for my kitten. So, yeah.
Honestly, I love that classics get new and pretty editions all the time because that could be the impetus for somebody to start reading classics. If they're like, wow, it's so beautiful. I need to discover this, what's inside. Yeah. I just love it. It's a good call. So another book that's on my winter TBR is one that we're reading this month, and that is He That Should Be King by Dorothy L. Sayers. And Faith is also one of our co-hosts for this. And my mom, it was so funny because I showed my mom how to use Kindle on her phone because she wanted to read it with us. And the next time I talked to her, like shortly thereafter, she's like, I already read the whole thing. Is that okay? She was like, I loved it so much. I couldn't stop reading it. I was like, that's great, Mom. I'm so glad. So she loved it. And I remember loving it. So I'm excited. I think I'm going to start it tonight.
I might wait for our reading sprints. I thought I might read it during that on the 10th.
Smart. Because it's not very long. Maybe I should wait too. It's not very long. I don't want to finish it before reading sprints.
No, I read from that because you had such a great tip about that collection for Sacred Plays. It's only like $2 on Kindle. Yeah. And because I think I first bought that when you did Faustathon and you were talking about the Faust play, which is so good. So I'm very excited.
Yes.
For the tip we play.
Oh. So
okay, Faith is going to start it on December 10th too. So we'll have a Dorothy Sayers reading party on December 10th.
Yes. Excellent. And that's on your channel, right?
Yes, that'll be on my channel.
On your channel.
I can't remember the time off the top of my head. Was it 4 p.m.?
Oh, I don't remember either.
It'll be posted.
I can probably find it. Oh, hang on.
It was in a video. It's probably in all of our announcement videos, actually. Oh, here, I don't think I can do the quotes or the pins, but I'm just going back and reading the comments. And George Eliot, I feel like, has been on my list. I need to get. It's been too long since I've last read a George Eliot.
Yeah, sorry. Which one was that?
Sorry, I mean, that was Faith's comment. Sorry, I'm just going back and like reading everyone.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. We got behind here. Oh, yes, no. George Eliot. Excellent. I know Faith is planning to read a bunch of Russian things too, which I'm planning to read with her. Some of them anyway. Woo!
I keep meaning to read Persuasion, that's next on my list to reread, but I feel like I have too many other books that like I probably shouldn't let myself reread it. Jane Austen. I should probably focus on other things.
I'm so impressed that everybody in your book club voted to read Mansfield Park because so many people do not like it, but I voted for it because I love it. And I was like, I want to discuss it with people, but
it was like by far and away the #1 pick. Which I feel like in the book club in the past, they've been like, well, but like I talk about Jane Austen all the time. Like maybe people would rather we read other things. So yeah, it was very affirming that it's like, no, we need to read Jane Austen.
Yes. I feel like Dostoevsky for me is like Jane Austen for you. That's what people associate us with. Okay, now I'm really behind. Sorry, everybody. Ooh.
Oh, that's the Buccaneers, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I think I saw pictures of that on Instagram.
I need to get on it. I hadn't even heard of this.
Yeah, I actually liked a lot the old adaptation of Buccaneers, but apparently there's a new one. So
nice.
I really want to read Edith Wharton's autobiography. Oh, the name of it escapes me. I just saw it the other day too, but it just sounded really interesting because I read her letters and they're really cool. Like she lived such an interesting life.
Ooh, yes, I feel like reading her nonfiction would be a good choice if you love her writing, but maybe not her fiction.
Yes, because her fiction is like you feel like it was catharsis, like like all of the like deadness of the New York society she lived in, she just like took it and put it in her fiction. But like her actual personality in life was like so full of light and like interest and like the sort of depressing negative quality of her books, like, and you can totally see why they're like that, but like you get a little bit more lightness and like, I don't know, spirit in her nonfiction. I found it in her letters because she was such a neat lady, like everything she did during World War I, and yeah.
Ooh, her ghost stories.
I have read some of those. For Booty one year. They're neat.
That is really neat.
Yes, just email me, emma@bookishprincess.com. And then I'll just add you because just email me with the email you want added to the list. And then you'll get the emails. Usually I send them out like a couple days before, and I am planning to announce the schedule. Like I'm picking out all the dates, but I know this happened this past year. It's hard to like know in like July when exactly you're going to be free. So one thing we did last year was that like, if I needed to move a meeting, we would like have a little poll and people could vote on like, okay, if not Saturday, maybe Sunday. But yeah, I'm going to be sending out the schedule for that soon. But yeah, if you just send me an email, emma@bookishprincess.com, I'll add you to the list. And yeah, we'd love to have you at the meetings. It's really nice. I feel like people kind of come in and out, and I mean, probably similar. I know I've been on some of Kate Howe's great book club meetings as well. So it's
yes.
nice.
I'm looking forward to the Wednesday Wars. That's another one on my winter TBR. I'm going to write that down too. That's for her last free meeting.
Oh, yes.
The Kindred Spirits Book Club. So that's another one for my winter TBR. I feel like I'm so behind in the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I feel better now, like less alone, Faith, because I was like, I'm like the only person who hasn't read either. Oh yes, Clueless is so cute.
The best.
Nice. Okay. Andrew Clements. What? I need to like, oh, hang on.
Sorry to keep
For Andrew Clements, I think I missed that chat, so I'm not even sure which book that was. But I'm just seeing that Aquariums of Pyongyang, which is kind of the best title. That sounds amazing. Almost American Girl. I'm sure that's not related to the American Girl doll series, but that's what it makes me think of. And I have not seen this Middlemarch adaptation that people are chatting about. I need to look it up, obviously.
Me too. Have you read Middlemarch, Emma?
Yes, a long time ago. I remember it being a bit of a slog. I should probably give it another try, though.
Oh,
it's too long.
I'm a little bit scared. Ooh, sorry. I'm a little bit scared to try it because I didn't love Romola, and that was another long one by her.
I love Silas Marner, the George Eliot.
Oh yeah, that one's. I read that one. Those are the two ones that I read, and I actually liked Silas Marner.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just checking if the pizza's done. I'll show you guys if it's done. Poor Kev's like,
oh, Frindle is sorry, I'm still like looking through the comments. Frindle is like the cutest book. I love that book. That's adorable. Okay, I'm gonna have to like screenshot all of these comments because I feel like all these different books that you guys are talking about sound really fun.
Just get it out.
Give me 1 second. Oh yeah, thank you.
Oh, Almost American Girl is a memoir graphic novel. Moved to America from Korea.
I was like sitting there trying to fuss with it.
Christy, I can't wait. You're gonna have to show us the pizza. I feel like we need like a drum roll. Wow, you guys are full of interesting facts. Vladimir Nabokov loved Jane Austen's books. I love it. I'm hungry, people. Priorities. Dinner over the live stream.
Sorry, everyone. Here's the pizza.
Oh, it looks delicious. Is there enough for all of us? Pizza emojis for everyone.
I'm trying to tell if it's done right now or if any. How long do you guys? You
this
people
happens to me too. Like you think it's done and then it's not. It's like right on the bottom in the most inconvenient spot. It looks delicious though.
How long do you guys usually cook pizzas? You guys tell me.
On the like, so I make the dough myself often, and on the little like bread maker packet it says 15 to 20 minutes, and then I have to leave it in for like 30 to like 40 minutes, and I don't know if it's because I'm not rolling it flat enough or there's too much sauce. I think sometimes you're also supposed to blind bake it, and I never bother with that. So, yeah, I like well done is nice. Is when it's like a little bit crispy. I would go for that over the undercooked. But.
Okay, thank you.
So do I need to like check it or will it be okay?
No, it should be fine.
No,
yeah, it should be fine.
Hi, Kevin. The chat says hi, Kevin.
Everybody is saying hello.
We love hanging out and making dinner with Christy.
Your bestie Rainey is here. All right. Yeah, if it starts smelling burnt, come get me. Because then we'll turn it down. Maybe I should just turn it down. I'll just turn it down a little bit. Yes, we don't want to burn it.
That would suck.
What is it at 350? Or are you cook it
500.
500? Oh,
that's what it said to put it on. So like the top's definitely done, but I'm just like it's like sticking on the bottom, which makes me think it's probably not done on the bottom.
That's the hardest part, especially if you put sauce on. I feel like the sauce is what prevents it from.
Oh yeah. Put it on the lower rack. That's a good idea. Okay, sorry everybody.
If Paul from the Great British Bake Off was here, he would be able to tell us how to bake it properly. But Faith has to go.
Bye, Faith. Thanks for coming. All right. So, do you have anything else written down for your winter TV?
No, I think I mostly went through it. I mean, one last really quick thing. I've been rereading the Lauren Gold's Wilder Little House on the Prairie series, and I'm up to These Happy Golden Years, which I haven't started yet because I know I love it so much that I'm like, this is just going to be a treat. Like, I feel like I'll just reread it over Christmas or like on some really lovely day, but yeah.
Oh, nice. This is going to be a great winter. And yeah, I think, man, I just feel like there was so much chat that I missed. Like it really picked up on the last.
I know.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming. This was a blast. And hopefully we will do it again before.
Yeah.
And Emma and I are currently talking about plans for our Lenten read-along, our annual, at this point, Lenten read-along. So we'll keep you guys updated in Feb Regency and all the cool stuff coming up. So
yeah, we'll see if you want to hang out again. December 10th, we'll be doing it again over on my channel.
Yes, exactly. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Have a nice night. Bye.
Bye.